Long ago, there were two monks traveling on a pilgrimage to Kumano. One was elderly. The other was young, and remarkably beautiful in appearance. When they reached the district of Muro, they asked to stay at someone's house, and the two of them lodged there for the night. The owner of the house was a young widow, and she had 2 or 3 attendants. When the woman of the house saw how beautiful the young monk staying there was, she was overcome with deep desire for him and cared for him with unusual warmth and devotion. That night, after the monks had already gone to sleep, the woman of the house secretly crept to the place where the young monk was lying. She spread her robe over him, lay down beside him, and startled him awake. The monk opened his eyes in shock and was overcome with fear and confusion. The woman said, "I never allow travelers to stay in my house. But tonight I let you stay because, from the moment I first saw you in the daytime, I deeply wished to make you my husband. That is why I brought you into my house, hoping to fulfill this desire, and why I have come close to you now. I am a widow with no husband. Please take pity on me." When the monk heard this, he was greatly frightened. He sat up and answered, "I have long held a sacred vow. For many days I have purified my body and mind, and I have set out on this distant journey to worship before the Kumano deity. If I were suddenly to break that vow here, it would be a fearful sin for both of us. Please abandon this desire at once." With these words, he firmly refused her. The woman was deeply resentful, and though she clung to him all night, disturbing him and trying to seduce him, the monk used many words to soothe and persuade her. "I am not refusing what you ask," he said. "Let me first go to Kumano. In 2 or 3 days, after I have offered the sacred lights and paper streamers, I will return, and on my way back I will do as you wish." After making this promise, the woman trusted his words and returned to her own room. When dawn came, the monk left the house and went on to Kumano. After that, the woman counted the days until the promised time. She thought of nothing else, longing for the monk and preparing everything for his return. But on his way back from Kumano, the monk was afraid of her. Without stopping at her house, he secretly escaped by another road and passed her by. The woman grew weary of waiting for him, and at last she went out to the roadside to ask the people passing by. Then she saw a monk returning from Kumano. She asked him, "Have 2 monks come back this way, one young and one old, wearing robes of that color?" The monk replied, "Those 2 monks returned long ago. It has already been 2 or 3 days." When the woman heard this, she struck her hands together and realized, he has already escaped by another road. Filled with rage, she returned to her house and shut herself inside her bedroom. There was no sound from within, and after a short while, she died. When the maid servants of the house saw this, they wept and grieved. Then, all at once, a venomous serpent about 30 feet long emerged from the bedroom. It left the house and made its way to the road, racing along as if following the route back from Kumano. Everyone who saw it was struck with terror. The 2 monks were already walking ahead, but by chance someone came and warned them, "Something strange is happening behind you. A great serpent, about 30 feet long, has appeared and is rushing this way across the fields and mountains." When the 2 monks heard this, they thought, "Surely the woman of that house, enraged because we broke our promise, has become a venomous serpent and is chasing after us." Terrified, they ran as fast as they could and fled into a temple called Dojoji. When the monks of the temple saw the 2 monks rushing in, they asked, "Why have you come running here in such haste?" The young monk explained everything that had happened and begged them to help him. The temple monks gathered together and discussed what to do. Then they took down the temple bell, hid the young monk inside it, and shut the temple gate. The elderly monk hid together with the monks of the temple. After a while, the great serpent came chasing after them to the temple. Although the gate had been shut, it climbed over and entered. It circled the hall once or twice, then went to the doors near the bell where the young monk had been hidden, striking them with its tail nearly 100 times. At last, it smashed the doors open and forced its way inside. Coiling itself around the bell, it beat the dragon-shaped loop at the top with its tail for 2 or 3 hours. The monks of the temple were terrified, but they also wondered what was happening. When they opened the doors on all 4 sides and gathered to look, they saw the venomous serpent shedding tears of blood from both eyes, raising its head and flicking its tongue, before racing back in the direction from which it had come. When the monks of the temple saw what had happened, the great bell was burning fiercely, scorched by the venomous heat of the serpent. No one dared to go near it, so they poured water over the bell to cool it, and when they removed it to look at the monk inside, they found that he had been completely burned away. Not even his bones remained. There was only a small amount of ash. When the elderly monk saw this, he wept in grief and went away. After this, a high-ranking elderly monk of Dojoji Temple had a dream. In it, a serpent even larger than the one before appeared, came before him, and spoke. "I am the monk who was shut inside the bell. That wicked woman became a venomous serpent, and in the end I was taken by that serpent and became her husband. Now I have received this wretched and impure body, and my suffering is beyond measure. I wish to escape this torment, but my own power is completely insufficient. While I was alive, I upheld the Lotus Sutra, and now I beg to receive the vast merit and compassion of a holy man like you, so that I may be freed from this suffering. Please awaken great mercy even for those with whom you have no bond. Purify yourself. Copy the lifespan of the Tathagata chapter of the Lotus Sutra, and make offerings for the sake of his 2 serpents, so that we may be released from this pain. Without the power of the Lotus Sutra, how could we ever be saved?" Seeing the serpent depart after saying this, the old monk awoke from his dream. Afterward, as the old monk reflected on what had happened, he immediately stirred up his devotion to the Buddhist path. He copied the lifespan of the Tathagata chapter of the Lotus Sutra with his own hand, gave up even his own monastic robe and alms bowl, gathered many monks together, and held a one-day Buddhist service, making offerings so that the suffering of the 2 serpents might be relieved. After that, the old monk had another dream. In it, a monk and a woman appeared. Both were smiling and filled with joy as they came to Dojoji Temple, bowed before the old monk, and said, "Because you performed these pure good deeds for us, the 2 of us were immediately able to cast off our serpent bodies and go to blessed realms." The woman was reborn in Toriden, while the monk ascended to Tosatsuten. After saying this, the 2 parted from one another and rose into the sky. Seeing this, the old monk awoke from his dream. From then on, he felt both joy and sorrow, and came to revere the power of the Lotus Sutra more deeply than ever. Indeed, it is wondrous beyond understanding that the miraculous power of the Lotus Sutra should be revealed so clearly. That the 2 of them were able to cast off their serpent bodies and be reborn in heaven was entirely due to the power of the Lotus Sutra. All who saw and heard of this came to revere and believe in the Lotus Sutra, copying it and reciting it. The heart of the old monk, too, was truly admirable. Surely this also came about through the guidance of good spiritual connections from a previous life. When we consider this, even the wicked woman's desire for the monk must have arisen from a bond formed in a previous life. And so, as this story has shown, the violent force of a woman's evil passion can be truly terrifying. For this reason, the Buddha strongly warned against drawing too close to women. Knowing this, one should abandon such attachments, so the tale has been handed down.